stuck around, and I appreciate it. And you picked this session because we're competing with other rooms. So I'm always happy when I see that people are coming to this session. And this is about guest-centric design, really putting the guest at the heart of how we deliver hospitality experiences. And this is a long-term mindset that we as hoteliers have to live rather than a trend that comes up and we move on from. Often, what I hear is from small independent hotels, we don't have the manpower to do these really creative things because we're such a tight team. And then you talk to bigger brands and bigger hotels and they say we're too big to make personalized experience, but they have the tech budget. And I just wanted to hear from these three people to see whether it is actually possible to do something great with technology or with smaller hotels, because they're going to hopefully prove out that it is possible to do it in smaller, but also to scale that back up into a bigger kind of environment. I'm going to do 3 smaller interviews, and then later on we can open it up for questions. So if you have questions, go into the Slido and you can drop those questions there. And I'm going to start with you, Aziz. I want to just understand, maybe introduce yourself, and then I'll dig into the concept. What do you do? What is the hotel? Where is it? What's special about it?
Great. Hey everyone. I'm the founder and owner of Maison Maire, which is a small boutique hotel, 51 room in Paris, 4 stars. It's my family hotel. It's basically where I grew up. We own it. My mom ran it for 25 years, and I took over very recently, 5 years ago.
And what's special about it?
So we built Maison Maire around one very specific thing, is to create emotions and to tell a story, which is a very topic of our talk today. And when I took over the budget, family hotel budget, 100 euro per room, we wanted to elevate it to the level of entertainment. We wanted to basically trigger emotions and create memories. And it was all around customer path and the customer journey. So we started by telling stories, by creating content, by bringing Parisians into the hotel, by creating a restaurant, by opening a blog, hosting artists, and creating a concept store. And then the emotion part, actually, when I took over, I'm an engineer, I did consulting, mathematics, finance. I accepted to take over, telling my dad, okay, but I'm going to build the hotel of my dream, based around one feeling. When I was 7 years old, when I traveled the first time into a hotel, I opened the door of my room and I discovered the setup they prepared for me. And this stuck with me when I discovered this small box of chocolate and small teddy bear and, the basics. And I kept this thing with me, inside me, and I built the whole hotel around this. I brought up an amazing team. I brought up tech, and I worked like an engineer, like an horloger will work on a watch, building this thing that would make people happy and that would make feelings and memories stick in their mind the same way they will keep memories about a shopping or an entertainment experience. So that's the way we thought about Maison Maire.
And do you hire more team members to do that than a normal hotel?
So, yes, it takes people. It's 51 room, and we are overly overstaffed, slightly overstaffed. We use a lot of tech that automate. Basically, the way we do it. First step was thinking about it like a kid will play Lego. That would be amazing if everyone would have champagne at the check-in. That would be amazing if we could recognize everyone and adapt the check-in in the room based on who they are. So we started building around the marketing persona, the experience. We started with experience, not with an Excel, not with a construction blue sheet. We started with who are they. We categorized 12 marketing persona, and for each of them, we decided, and we tried to understand what do they like. How will we manage to touch the sweet spot? Will we manage to create this wow moment? Do they remember a room which is 20% bigger? No, they won't. Will they remember if when they arrive, you know the name of the kid, you know why they're here, and you print on the foam of the hot chocolate of the kid, "Hello Gaspard, have a good day at Disneyland"? Yes, they will, and they will come back. And thanks to that, we tripled revenue at Maison Maire. And we reached a GOP of almost 50%. And we're very proud to say that 1 out of 7 customers comes back, and 1 out of 5 customers leave us a positive review on TripAdvisor.
Nice.
And we I mean, non-business related. When we see people leaving and like offering gifts to my team and keeping in touch on WhatsApp and coming back, and then we were happy with. I mean, we achieved the end goal. The end goal being recreating this wow moment when you open the door and when you see, wow, they thought about it.
And you talked about 12 personas. These are guests, basically, that you're saying that this guest would look like this, like they're a family with kids? Or can you give one example of what a persona would look like? And how did you get to the 12?
You just talked about one, family trip with kids. Young kids or older kids? Sharing a room or no, splitting? Business traveler, okay, but what kind of business traveler? Lonely, is it coming for like an event like a muse, or is it a corporate contract? Is it coming middle of the week or close to a weekend? And based on that, we'll put each customer in a bucket, and we will automate the customer path. The customer path starts on the second of the reservation. We send emails, we use a CRM like everyone, and then we
Do you want to share which one? I'm always curious.
We're using Juve.
Juve, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it starts, the digital path starts online, and we start exchanging half IA, half personal, gathering data, and then on the moment the customer arrives on premise, the physical path starts. So we are ready to know who they are, and we adapt the check-in. Is it champagne? Is it hot drink? Is it cold drink? We have the bartender who creates a new drink every 2 months. She comes at the check-in. If there's a kid, we'll be ready with it with a coloriage and with the gifts. And then in the room, we have personal notes. We have we do like we draw on the mirror. We have gifts that adapt. And during the stay, I trained and sensibilized my staff to be very chatty and to ask questions. And we gamified it. Everyone get a reward if they chat and if they get information. We have a WhatsApp group. We have like a lot of tech that allows us to share information. And let me give you an example. Antoine, our night auditor, is one of the most chatty person I've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And we give training. We give them theater training, elegance of the heart training. So this couple arrives and he started chatting, and after 15 minutes he knows everything about them, and he knows that this guy proposed to his wife in Montmartre, and it was around a pastry, like a lemon cake from this boulangerie. And the next morning, everyone knows about it because we have 2 meetings per day to circulate the data. And one of the team members has some time free time. He runs to the boulangerie. He brings the small pastry, €3 and something. He puts it in the room. And at the end of the trip, I mean, imagine the emotional impact that we have on this guest. The room may be 17 square meters, not larger than the hotel previously, like when it was a budget hotel. But the experience is so much higher because we know our guests, we customize the stay, we tell a story, and we are anchored in our neighborhood.
That's amazing. I'd come. I haven't stayed yet, but I will be coming now. Like, it sounds incredible.
Please do.
And you said the revenue tripled because of that. Like, did the physical product also change, or was it really just this very personalized approach that drove the revenue up?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, we're renting the same size and the same floor prints. We added a restaurant. We added a very great gastronomic restaurant with a fusion and a modern touch. We are ranked number 3, I think, out of 18,000 restaurants in Paris.
Congrats.
And we redid the decoration, but most of the value we created is in the intangible aspects of it. In number 1, the tech, and number 2, the processes, and number 3, the team. Because building all that starts as a kid doing sandcastle. Then step 2, as an engineer working on plugging everything together so that the flows works. And Muse, we started with you at like 6 years or 5 years ago when we opened, and Muse was in the centerpiece of it that allowed everything to be plugged together. And then step 3, it's very important for us, it was very important to not finish the job. Stop at 80% done, and then let it go, and watch your baby grow between the hands of your team. Because if you finish everything, it's your toy. And if it's your toy, no one's going to play with it. So you have to let it grow sometimes to a direction that will not be the one you would have chose, but they will own it. And now I'm very lucky to be surrounded by amazing and brilliant professionals who joined me 5 years ago at age 21, and who now run the business as if it's theirs, it's their businesses.
I love it. And it sounds like you're building a specific culture as well. Like you're allowing people in your teams to be themselves, but that doesn't happen naturally. How do you drive that culture in the team?
A lot of training, formal training, informal training, a lot of beer, rosé, parties. It's very, very important to have them bond together and bond with the brand. And a lot of, I report to my team every week. We have a COMEX meeting, and everyone is responsible for 7 metrics. If it's in the green, good job. If it's in the red, fix it. Starting 19, 20, 21, everyone has its 7 metrics. And then also I heard in one talk, SOPs are good, but good sense and elegance of heart is the most important. We want them to be hosted, the clients, as if they're be hosted. Maison Maire means home and mother. It's a good tribute to my mom who ran the hotel for 25 years, but it's also as if you're gonna host people in your home. So, of course, you offer a free drink if you're late. Of course, you don't charge for that. So that's how we train our people, and we have to pick the pure hearts and the EQ, and then the rest is just about training and culture.
Elegance of heart.
Elegance of hearts.
I like that. Thank you. Luca, you do something very different, and I'm going to have to tie it into this conversation. So, but I think I know where you're going to take it, but introduce maybe what you guys do.
No, but I love your story, by the way, Aziz. We didn't have the chance to catch up, because what I feel from you is that you are kind of creating the guest-centric through staff-centric, you know? You're putting staff in the center of that experience, and I think everyone should be doing that. I think that's the biggest reserve that also bigger hotels have. But going back to, I was a housekeeper some years ago, and I just was running in the operations with pen and paper, and to me as a housekeeper that felt very stressful sometimes. I also saw that there's a lot of time being wasted and so forth. So long story short, we created FlexKeeping, which today is a platform to run operations way better, way more automated, etc. And when it comes to guest-centric, what I have been seeing, that's my personal opinion, that a lot of times there's a disconnection between ops and, let's say, the selling point, or be it front office, reservation point, whichever, and then you can coincidentally not, either you're not able to provide that service or you're not delivering what you've promised, And I have a personal experience, for example, but I'm going to get to why this is such an amazing story to me, is, for example, a few months ago, we stayed as a family in a 5-star luxury property, bigger one, 240 rooms, and I got a really nice pre-stay email that asked me if my kids need bathrobes, and it was winter, and the hotel has a pool, and that's why we went there, and obviously I said, yes, that's amazing, and when we arrived, we immediately went to the pool, but the bathrobes were not there. And the reason is very frequent in my experience, because it's just a miscommunication. So sometimes the ops is not able to handle it, probably way frequently than that, it's just a friction of communication, right? But what we are now able to do, and this is where my belief is that staff members should be the engine. Like you said, someone in the room noticed something about them, or they were chatting with them, and then they were the ones that circled this information, and that was creating that experience and that attention. And that's exactly what we are trying to now also enable. One is through enabling staff, 2 is through enabling automation. So for example, the bathrobe example is super easily solvable now, where let's say we know that in a Muse integration, if I would be coming with my kids, I would know that one is 4, the other is 6, and we would automatically schedule to the right staff member at the point of reservation that these sizes of bathrobes need to wait at arrival time,
Yeah.
So we take all that friction away and make sure that you can do that. So I think
so how does that work? So in a normal hotel, there's a reservations department that now has to create traces in an old system for the housekeeping departments and have to remember to put it on the right day of arrival. So what happens with your solution?
Yeah, exactly. What would then happen is that the housekeeping manager or any other department would read through all of those traces in the 200 rooms, right? What we automate that completely. So either we would read that comment and schedule it for the right room and the right guest, or in your case, you have products. So you would be booking a product or something like that. We could also be looking at classifications, loyalty codes, anything. And then it makes that scalable as well. Because a lot of times there's a comment we can't handle it. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they're afraid to take over more responsibility for personalizing that way, but because they don't know how to handle it, right?
Yeah.
So I think the big part is enablement of people. And then the other is you should enable everyone, every housekeeper, every bartender, in my view, to be the generator of, hey, he really likes that, or hey, they seem to have a anniversary, let's do that special touch, and then you can scale it up. So I think this story is really amazing, and we feel that we should be the ones that should empower others to do that as well, be it if it's a bigger organization or, just to bring it to everyone. Yeah.
And yesterday we ran into each other, and at some point he said, "Oh, we use AI." I was like, "Sure, show me." And I literally made him show me on his phone. I said, "Open the app and just show me what it does," because I don't trust things that people tell me until I've seen it with my own eyes. And I talked about it this morning, but maybe explain what you currently do with AI.
Yeah, one thing that we saw when ChatGPT came out is that, so in operations, obviously, there's so many nationalities, right? So you all have probably multiple tens of nationalities, and especially in housekeeping, where, let's say, our heart is, language barrier is a serious problem. That's number one. And the number two part is that, how you use the system or how the system is being used is a huge factor in if a system is even used or not, loved or not, and if you're getting the outcome of it, right? So tech literacy and language barrier was like coming to our mind. Okay, so we can now use the voice, only enable them to use their voice to do any of the tasks. So instead of typing or whatever else they would need to do, they can just say, like, there's an anniversary, let's deliver them something. I could do that in Slovene, and then FlexKeeping would automatically translate that into a structured automation task for the team.
And it supports all languages.
Yes, it's as many as ChatGPT supports. So I hope so. Yeah. No, and it really immediately took off. It's super easy to do a maintenance ticket. Now we are trying to enable that for inspections, all sorts, not just room, to increase the volume of inspections, because I know that when you are booked out, right, when you're 90, 100%, even especially if it's a bigger property, you go down on inspections, at least down on putting down information on them, through checklists and stuff.
Me and Elise, we used to work at the Waldorf together in London, and we had to do the fire walk as a duty manager.
Yeah.
So you walk around, check every fire exit, and then you see all the things wrong with the hotel. You write it on a piece of paper, and then you bring it to the morning meeting the next morning, and you start to report all of these things. And it sounds like that's basically solving that one.
Yeah, exactly. The downside is you don't have the time, then it's not recorded, and you can't do anything about it. We talked about data hygiene in the morning sessions, having data, etc., to do training, to do quality, to do personalization. Our view is that the more we enable everyone, regardless of the language, culture, whatever background, they will use it, you'll get that, and you'll get all the benefits. You'll be able to do all of those things. So that was the first way we implemented AI.
Does it ever go wrong?
For sure. I mean, it's early days, as everyone said, so it's not always correct. But let's say in our case, 70% of cases is immediately right. So there is a 30% chunk.
Yeah.
So absolutely, there's stuff to be done. But that's a big improvement.
So where's that going? If you take that forward, like it's moving so fast, versus from what it can do now versus what it can do in a year's time. What's your hope?
I personally, for years, and then ChatGPT was that, now we can do it, is that, we've always thought, like, when I was a housekeeper, like, tech should never distract you. Like, there's always the pressure, there's always way then more rooms to clean that you can handle, etc., etc. So we always had this philosophy of, okay, it needs to kind of be your shadow, you need to like using it and be super fast using it. That was always our philosophy. Now, I think the next level is just using your voice in that sense, right? So if you can interact with it while doing the work, that's the best case in situations where you're not guest-facing. Then it's maybe a bit harder to talk to AI while, but still, right? In housekeeping, I think that's going to be a game changer. So we are now working on really widening that to other spectrums.
Because when you showed it to me, I was like, yeah, I recognize, because if I'm a housekeeper, I need to clean as many rooms as fast as possible. Opening an app on my phone, waiting for it to load, open a new task, it is genuinely painful for someone whose speed is of the essence. And if you can just start talking, and it's done. And I think that's really where AI can come in, right?
Exactly. Look, typing into an app is still faster than calling via walkie-talkie, right?
Yeah.
Or getting papers the next morning, stuff like that. But yeah, definitely. If I don't even need to open up anything or just use 3 seconds instead of 30, that's still a lot of time.
Yeah.
Multiply that by hundreds of rooms, etc., hundreds of people, that's a lot of time at the end, where you could use that rather for that, looking what we can do better for the guests. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. Nicole.
Yay. Hello.
Tell us your last name. How do we say it?
It's Torbjörnsson.
Beautiful.
Very easy.
Very easy.
Not very useful when you're working internationally with the O with 2 dots and the I and the double S.
Yeah.
So I'm planning to change
You're spelling it while you're on the phone to customers. Like, let me spell this out for you.
And then it's T for O for R for, it takes ages.
Got it.
So.
you're from a hotel that I'm a personal fan of, but maybe you tell about it, because I'm sure I will interrupt at some point because I loved it so much.
Yeah.
But you're the orange juice hotel for me.
Yes, the orange juice and the avocados. My name is Nicole, and I'm from a small hotel in Stockholm called Ett Hem, which means a home. So very similar to Assistant that also has a home. The thing with Ett Hem that differs a lot from other hotels is that the feeling is that you're staying with your best friend at the best friend's house, and that good friend has very deep pockets, a good taste in internal in design, and loves music and great food. We spoke, or this morning when I listened to a lot of the other sessions, I think our industry is maybe still a bit into, back of house and front of house, and you have the front desk. These words were mentioned plenty of times this morning, and I think at the Hem we have a very blurry front and back. We don't have a back of house. Everything we do is in front of the guests. When we change flowers every Thursday, the guests can be part of that. When our chefs bring in the big animals for cutting them, the chefs can see that, or the guests can see that. The staff that are actually, more working in the administration, we are also seated wherever there is place to sit in the houses. And I think that's really a big change. And when people come to Ett Hem, they are not coming to a desk, where there is a desk between the staff and the guest. And I think it's such an easy thing to do, but there are so many hotels that might not be there yet.
Yeah.
We welcome them. We take them on a tour to show them the two. Or it's actually 3 houses, it's 25 rooms, but we take them on a tour where they can find everything. And then...
How does Stockholm reflect? So I often stay in different cities almost every week, and I wake up and I'm thinking, where am I? And I don't know often, but Stockholm is deeply reflected throughout the hotel. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I think mostly through the staff who can give a really great insight tips what to do in Stockholm. But our focus is really also working with our local producers, both when it comes to food, when it comes to the plates that we are working with in Ett Hem is made of an old woman that are based not too far from Ett Hem. Also the glassware are made in Åre, which is a small town up north. We actually during summer we grow our own herbs, potatoes, tomatoes in one of the staff members' summer houses, approximately an hour from Ett Hem. So the focus is really, and like you mentioned, no, we don't have orange juice because oranges do not grow in Sweden. We have apples, and it's the same, for example, when we have requests for avocado, which is a big discussion in-house, that we don't have avocados in Sweden. So you will have to survive without it. And I think also that is a little bit the thing with Ett Hem. People cannot choose. They have to take what we offer because we don't have any menus. They have to eat what is served for that night. For breakfast, we serve the breakfast, and you have to eat what is served for breakfast. There is no. You can choose if you want to have poached egg or something else, but otherwise,
like prison.
Yeah, it's like a prison. It doesn't sound like that, but I think then you take away the way of that they have to make choices, because sometimes I think that is the worst thing, when you have to choose what you're going to do and when you do this and that and this and that. So, and, it has been very successful because people like it.
Love it.
Yeah, and also many of our emails starts with, our friends stayed with you, or we have heard about this. And so that must be, something that we're doing right, at least.
Like for me, when I stayed, and I only stayed one night, and I've immediately booked my follow-up stay because I said to my husband, you must see this hotel. And I have seen many hotels, but there's something that you created, the magic of the very personal touch when I sat down. And it was, I was hungry. I said, are you still serving lunch? I know it's late. And she's like, any dietary restrictions? And within 20 minutes, I had food, and there was no choice, but it was beautiful. And I've been raving about your hotel since then. And I think that is that word of mouth that's so important for getting direct bookings and getting the average rates up to hotels. And I think it is possible, but it does require something special. Who drives the something special?
But it comes back to the staff, of course. I mean, they are the one who makes the magic, and like you said, we also wine and dine and drink beer and champagne, and we do a lot of things to push the staff, and we don't do that much training. I think, if you're a service person, it comes from your heart, and it also you like to do the job. It's hard to train someone to do the extra mile. That must come from the person, him or herself. But that's also what we get most reviews on is the staff, every time. And you can put in a bed, nice furnitures, but if there is no soul in the hotel, what is it then?
So what's the profile of person you hire? And I think it's also a question to you, what are you looking for in these people when they walk in the room? Is it someone from a hotel school background that has been trained in hotels forever, or is it something different?
I think it's something different. We're actually looking for people that have been to hotel school, so if you know anyone...
Your email address, write that down.
Please let me know. No, but it's a mix. There's a lot of people that come from an F&B background, since the ones that are working front of house, they are not only taking care of the guests that are checking in. They are also serving breakfast, serving lunch, and I'm also serving lunch and doing. You do a little bit of everything. So sometimes when people come from hotel school, they are so focused that they're going to work in a specific department. But when you come to a TEM, you are a little bit everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's more. Like yesterday, I said that we have senior staff, but probably most of them are between 35 and 45.
So do you
feel senior?
Do you feel old?
No, and of course some of the runners are young because they are a little quicker.
Yeah.
No, but they are the ones that make the magic happen, and I think it's just a feeling, of staying at somebody's house. And we also discussed that yesterday. What is luxury? Is luxury to come to a hotel with marble and gold, and this is luxury for some people, to get the feeling that you are actually at home.
Nice.
So.
Thank you. How do you? And I think it's probably for all of you. There's this. How do we deal with all this data that we have and the creep factor of customers? If you're trying to do something really personal, and customers that is creepy that they know this about me. How do you balance between the data you have access to what actually the experience is for the guests, so that they don't feel like you've been spying on them?
Yeah, actually, that was something that I talked with someone during lunch also. Like we said before, that retail has come very far when it comes to this personalization. And a friend of mine, she got a package from a luxury brand sent to her, because that's what you get when you buy a lot of stuff in luxury brand. And there was a picture of her and her daughter. And then she felt like, oh, they've been spying on me because I haven't asked, for this picture, and how did they get it? And so I think it's really thin line for us that have all the information to not overdo it in the hotel. But I feel that we are so behind when you are talking about all the 12 categories, and I'm like, okay, we are not at all doing that much. Maybe, we do gifts for birthdays, for celebrations and so on, but we don't really have them into categories like that.
Do you want to respond to this?
Yeah, it's a risk indeed. It's like a recipe, right? A little sugar is nice, too much sugar wastes it all.
Yeah.
So basically we have tech and people. We have the automated path and the case-by-case path. The automated part has been built, and now it's like a machine. We observe and we get the output and we try to use it, and it works nice and well. But this alone would sound robotic and would be. We all know the excess of over customization. So this is how it would feel. Then we have our team. We have 2 persons looking at each profile and looking up and knowing them and telling, no, this one out of the path. I know him. He came always, and that's what he likes. So at the end of the day, it all it's all based on people and on a couple of person. It's about like a handful of person that you would trust with your home, that you would trust to host your friends, and that's basically how we think about it. We have Maya. She was 19 with us, and now she's guest manager. She's guest experience manager, and she knows personally the customer who comes and keep coming back. And she's like a maître d'hôte. She's like the woman who keeps her house clean and neat, and she knows which flower they like. She has an amazing memory, and she can chit chat, and we hear her laughing from all over from the other side of the hotel. And the machine and the tech allows to automate things. And this is what allows profitability. We are a business at the end of the day. But on the top of this automated path, we have people who are elegant and who wake up at night thinking, oh, I put orange flowers and he liked the green one. I knew it. So this is what makes us happy, and this is what makes us want to go an extra mile, and this is what we thrive for. This is what we look for in people we hire. We hire young people. Half of our staff are very young, out of school or at school, and then 75% of our team leaders are recruited from our interns. Now, my team here, Marion, has started with me. She was my first intern 5 years ago. She was at school. And now I'm partnering with her and starting a company together. And she's managing like 3 teams. And she's 27 now?
That went fast.
And that's how we work together. We start with tech. We automate, let's say, 40, 50%. And the rest is just amazing people who would do the same at work that they would do at home with their siblings.
Nice, thank you. Luca, what's one thing that you guys have done, and when you deployed it, it had an unexpectedly positive experience for the guests?
Yeah. No, can I just
go for
quickly
it.
comment on this? I think that I also completely agree with that, but I think that you can also look at it as like one is level of attention and one is level of personalization. And what I mean by attention is like, if you pay attention to the core specifics of a reservation, like I am coming with 2 children, there's a pool, they will need bathrobes, and that can be predicted and delivered, that's not over-sugaring it. And then if you automate that level, you can create a lot of really positive experience. Oh, look at them, you know, they were aware that I'm on a business trip, I'm probably gonna need an iron if that's another standard equipment and it's already there. I don't even need to call, you know. And this level, and that goes into the loyalty rates, all of those things that when you then also need to deliver on promise. I think this is the level where you should absolutely automate because there's no need to going through that yet, right? And then there's the personal touch on top of that. So I really love that. But I would say it's attention and then it's on top personalization, right? One unexpected thing within that is, I hope I can call this out. There's a nice collaboration we're having with Strawberry, and we deployed this type of an automation, let's say, where we look at certain products, and the product can be like if there's a certain loyalty code, if someone needs twin beds, if someone is a VIP, if someone is repeating, if someone is very important, etc., etc. Consequently, schedule for a concierge to bring them that special gift or a birthday cake or a twin this, you know, do that separate bet. And those are all consequent tasks that needs to be done. And the unexpected thing was in that example, which is really, for now, the most successful one, is that in a 390-room hotel, that meant specifically 13,700 automated tasks for the team in 3 months, and that's not something that before hasn't need to be done. You know what I mean? That's just something that is now completely eliminated in terms of someone needs to make sure and schedule it. I view this really as an amazing thing because I am super big voucher for people being the driver for hospitality, and people are hospitality at the end of the day, and it's attention that makes you feel so good and stuff like that. But then that's exactly why we need to take away all that tedious stuff and friction. And when we see this kind of result, it's like, wow, you know, we can now definitely, especially with like-minded people that exactly have the same philosophy, drive really good hospitality to the next level, right? And yeah, that's super exciting to us, really.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know how we're doing on time. I'm just looking at the back of the room. Do we have time? 2 minutes or 2 questions? 2 minutes. Sorry, I'm like, what does that mean? To the hoteliers here, what is one thing that was a small thing you did that had quite a big impact that people can take away from today to their hotels and do?
Remove the front desk.
That's not a small thing.
But that, I mean, we started a hotel 12 years ago, and for the first 3 years, there were actually not that many guests. But then it started to happen, and then we also removed the front desk, and then it's when you have the close connection with the guests.
Like, what breaks when you do that? Because a lot of people are like, yeah, sure, but that's not going to work because I've got all these reasons why it won't work.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to break when you...
The thing is that then you can take the guest and you can sit wherever you like and do the check-in process, because the check-in process is a really boring process. You know, do you have a credit card? Do you have a passport? And that should actually be done before they arrive, I think, even more. But then you can sit down wherever you like and do the boring stuff.
Yeah.
But that's actually something that I want to work more with Muse on, how to have everybody green in the system when they arrive, because we just want to welcome them and take them on the nice tour.
Yeah, love it.
We encouraged interactions between our guests. We created social hours. We brought people from outside, Parisians, and we realized with bars and restaurants and offers and cheap drinks and cheap food, and we realized that we're not responsible. We can let other people create the experience for us. So they started chatting together, being friends, and locals meet travelers, and travelers meet locals, and we created synergies of experience, basically like two stones hitting each other and created a sparkle. And we were just a public. We were just watching it happen and enjoying what was happening.
Nice. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I will be coming to Paris. I'm definitely already booked in for your hotel to experience it. Luca, thank you also for joining and talking about the technology that sits behind silently, making their life so much easier. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt, for having us.